Bakewell-Park began because I wanted to write a blog, but I didn't want to write under my real name. So my husband, well now husband, who was then boyfriend, and I came up with her name as Lady Bakewell-Park because we used to live opposite Victoria Park, and my favoured bake was the Bakewell tart. The blog was charting adventures of me sort of teaching myself how to bake. But very soon after, about 2 weeks after I started the blog, he proposed. So the blog became about baking and weddings and life just generally living in London, and trials and tribulations, and it became really popular. I was working for a design company actually, doing brand consultancy and web design. Not something I had planned to go into, I just sort of fell into it. I enjoyed it, but my heart was really in the kitchen. It's definitely helped me with creating Lady Bakewell-Park, because for me, Lady Bakewell-Park, the brand, is really important, and who I am, and displaying who she is as a person and a persona is all part and parcel. Just shortly after we got married, I left my then job and decided to start working in kitchens in London. So I had to take a big pay cut, which was living in London is very costly, but we just went for it, and I loved it, but we realised we couldn't afford to stay in London like that. So we decided to move back here to Suffolk-Essex border, and by doing so we had property in London, so we sold the property and we took a little bit of money out of that so that I could start my business. Actually, the reason I went into baking was mostly because of my mum, because I would bake with my mum, which I think is why there's that sort of, I try and keep a homely feel to the baked goods. But nowadays it can be anything. I could be out shopping and see something or try something and think I could do something different with a Bakewell tart for that. I think I like to eat in small sizes, and I think that's why I specialised in petit fours, because I enjoy having just a little sweet treat. So cupcakes we do, but we might do mojito cupcakes, or although I like to call them fairy cakes because I'm supposed to be British, so fairy cakes. And then we do the biscuits, but like the repertoire now is getting bigger and bigger and it's expanding, and there's always something new coming. And we try and do it with seasonal as well. I use social media a lot. Because my following is through a blog, it's an obvious place for me to advertise what I do. If we're doing something for a wedding, I might have a wedding on at the weekend, but I would also have current orders, a standing order if you like. So there's some places which I bake once a week for 2 times a week. So I tend to have 3 or 4 bake days a week, and then the other days will either be admin, packing or delivering. I love that it gives me the flexibility to work within my own timescale, which, given that I've just had a baby, is very useful for me. That little burp. It's a little burp. Sometimes I am actually baking with baby like this, doing stuff one-handed, challenging but not impossible. For example, though, last night she didn't sleep, but I woke up this morning and I thought, well, if I want my business to work, I just got to man up really, and get on with it, and that's sort of what I do. Because it works itself out. To be able to be at home and to be able to have her in the kitchen on a bouncer is really lovely. And more often than not, she just sort of sits there and watches what I'm doing. Because one day, wouldn't it be great if she wanted to bake as well? That would be lovely. The real reason I'm doing this is for her. So if I want her to have a better future, then I need to work harder. I'd say first and foremost, you need support. You need people that are going to support you 100%. But not only support you, but question you, give you constructive criticism. You need that around you, because when you're in it, you can't see out of it. Even, you know, Bakewells, which I'm supposed to be a dab hand at, they can go wrong. Like, everything can go wrong. And I think my biggest piece of advice for anyone that likes baking is never bake when you're angry, because it just never works. Always bake happy. Yeah. Bake happy. Or eat your hand, one or the other.